Don't think about reality, my little happy shopper. A brand new show on Netflix to distract you from the horror. And swallow all your morals for a retweet or a follow. And shadow ban the problem man, a soul for $1.
Now here's where it really gets interesting. He says, don't think about reality. There's a brand new show on Netflix to distract you. Well, how many people does that apply to? How many people, go home and mindlessly watch the latest show on Netflix or some other channel and tune out the world, and you swallow all your morals for a retweet or a follow? Here he's talking about the world of the social media that so many people spend so much time on. And I'm as guilty as anybody. Look at me, I've got a YouTube channel, a couple of them. Good morning, and welcome to another episode of the Clarion Call, Reactions and Opinions. A week or so ago, I did a reaction to Ren's prologue, and it received a very good reaction from my viewers. I had almost 3,000 views, which is a lot for my little channel. 400 likes, a lot of great comments, but most importantly, about 170 new subscribers, many of whom urged me to stay with Ren and react to the next chapter of Vincent's Tale. So here I am, I'm going to give it a shot. You probably realize I don't actually do reactions, especially with an artist like Ren, who is so amazing and multifaceted in what he's producing here. So much to cover that I nearly need time. I've probably watched this video a half dozen times. I've watched at least a half dozen other reactions to it. I've studied the lyrics. I really need to do all of that before I understand, partially at least, what he's doing here. One thing I did discover after the last video is I watched a live with Ren, and one thing he mentioned was that each of the episodes in Vincent's Tale will be titled after a work of art. So, of course, the prologue was titled Sunflower, which Vincent van Gogh, of course, had famously done a series of paintings of sunflowers. And this next one is called Self-Portrait. And as you can see on your screen, Vincent did a number of self-portraits, over 30 probably, during his life. And you can see how they changed over time. The one in the upper left was one of the earliest ones, and it's a fairly conventional portrait of the artist. Then a few years later, he sent the one on the upper right to his friend Paul Gauguin. And here he appears to have had a recent haircut. Not a great haircut by the looks of it. Then in the lower left, you can see he's got his ear bandaged. And that's, of course, when he famously cut off his ear in a fit of madness, which ended him up in a sanitarium for a while. Now, one thing you'll notice is that in the picture with the bandage is his right ear that appears to be bandaged. That's because when he did his self-portraits, he tended to do them in a mirror, so everything is reversed. So it was actually his left ear that was cut off, but it just appears to be the right because of the way he did his self-portraits. And then the one lower right is one of the last ones that he did. And you can kind of see, I guess you could call it almost a psychedelic effect there with the background, very reminiscent of some of his later work. But Vincent, when he did his self-portraits, he didn't try to pretty himself up. He was very honest about what he looked like and the torment that he was living in his life, which I touched on in my earlier video. So I think when we turn to Ren's self-portrait, we start from that context that he's going to show you all the warts. Let's remember that he's playing a character. The person who appears as Vincent in this next video is not the real Ren, but is a character he's playing, a very desperate and lunatic character. Ren could probably relate to some of that, but it doesn't mean that everything he says is his own feelings. With that said, let's move on to the video. starts with a repeat of one of the final scenes from the prologue with Vincent drinking alone, obviously highly intoxicated, pays his bill, and staggers out of the bar. And here he is, he's exiting the Druid's head. I said at the time, when I did my first reaction, that this is not going to end well. And that turned out to be an understatement. A little bit of foreshadowing there when the title Self-Portrait came up, and then there was blood splatters across the title. So this is going to be a bloody ending. And I know I'm not spoiling that for anybody watching, because I'm certain that all of you have seen this video numerous times and watched numerous other reactions. So I'm not going to worry about spoiling anything. Now, I am not 100% sure that that's the same actor who played the other Vincent in the prologue, but it is certainly very similar to him. He's got the red hair, the red beard. This fellow's playing the guitar. Who knows? In any case, notice how the camera kind of wobbles. As Ren wobbles, the camera tilts from side to side, almost gives you a feeling of seasickness, but it kind of captures the whole mood of him being extremely wasted. Now that little move there, he's pretending to be drunk, of course. And if he was really drunk, when he went over that curb, he probably would have fallen, smashed the guitar, or hurt himself. But the way he did that little move, it was almost like a choreographed dance. It's hard to give credit for all the things that Ren can do. He created this video, directed this video, performed as an actor in a video, as a musician. He wrote story, he wrote all the words. And I'm going to put a lot of emphasis on the words that he wrote, because I think that's one of the most amazing parts of the story. And sometimes they go by pretty fast, so I'm going to break them down a little slower and point out some things that I noticed. But anyway, I just thought that little trick of going backwards over that curb was pretty dexterous. Let's watch it again.
Come on, let's have it, you miserable prick. I will do what I want. I will drink till I'm sick to my stomach. I'm sick of the same boring songs. I am sick of these pavements I find myself on. Great Britain, I hate you all. Say that with pride. It's my right to be fired when you fed me lies.
Now that line in particular stuck out for me. Obviously, he's singing in an exaggerated, drunken way, and especially when he says how much he hates Great Britain. But then he says, "It's my right to be violent because you lied to me." It reminded me a little bit of the fellow down in New York City who murdered the insurance executive, Mr. Luigi. He felt he had the right to be violent, and a lot of people apparently agree with that. You know, I don't. I don't think no matter what that fellow might have done, that anyone has the right to end his life unless he's convicted and executed in a court of law. That's vigilantism. And if everybody who felt they've been lied to went out and started being violent, we wouldn't have a civilization much longer. Of course, Ren is playing a part here. He's playing a part of a person who feels that way. And a lot of people can probably relate that they feel that way, but it doesn't mean you should act on it.
I hate you all. Say that with pride. It's my right to be fired when you fed me lies. I'm a rotter, a menace when I want to be, and I've worked for that right because nothing comes free. I have slaved all my life in the dull 9 to 5. I just rinse and repeat while I'm barely alive. Great Britain, I love
so he comes up to another group of strangers and steals the fellow's cigarette and takes a puff out of it. He's looking to start a fight. Now, these guys don't take the bait, but he'll find his victims soon. Now, I'm going to put the lyrics of the song up on the screen because I find, especially as the song goes on, that there's so much hidden in here and it's hard to retain it all in your memory. Okay, so we went through the first verse. He's sick to his stomach. He's sick of these same boring songs. He's sick of the pavement. And he hates Great Britain with a pride. And it's my right to be violent when you fed me lies. No, I don't think so. All right, so now in the second verse, I'm a rotter, a menace when I want to be, and I work for that right because nothing comes free. I don't think you have the right to be a rotter and a menace. That's his point of view, but I'm not buying it. I have slaved all my life in a dull 9 to 5. Now that refers back in the prologue, that what I call the day in the life sequence, where they showed him, getting up every morning, riding the bus, spending a meaningless day working on computers, stopping at a bar, having something to drink. Just rinse and repeat while I'm barely alive. It's a type of mind-numbing lifestyle that too many people are stuck in, where they have to work 9 to 5, 40 hours a week, and they hate their job. The job is boring. It's always the same. There's no creativity, and it's very, very dull. And because of that, he feels, very, very angry inside, and now he wants to take it out on the whole country. I loathe you with a murderous glee. Well, that's foreshadowing, isn't it? He's going to do something murderous quite soon. And I will do this country what you've done to me. So he feels justified in acting out and doing something murderous. So he's playing a character, and that's the way the character feels. And a lot of people have been there in their lives and feel that way. I haven't, but I can understand, those who have no alternative. At times something breaks and they lose it. Again, referring back to Vincent van Gogh himself, who didn't ever murder anybody, but he attacked himself, and he fought the line between sanity and insanity and eventually succumbed. So this fellow here is very close to the edge of insanity, if not already there.
Destroy. I want to tear apart these buildings from the cinder blocks they stand. Leave this town in dust and rub. Make some trouble with my hands. I don't lie, I'm fucking wasted, but I wasted all my youth, and I've stayed so damn complacent. Getting wasted, this is my truth. So my style and self-expression is a fist into the gut. It's throwing up upon these pages. Shut your fucking mouth, you slut. Banished angel, I am Lucifer. My brain like endless cons, and you will know my name. I am the storm after the calm. I'm the victim of the victim list, the pill that makes you sick. I am chaos incarnate. Let's fucking have it then, you prick!
Look at that view of total insanity on his face. And now he's happy because he's finally got someone to take him up on his effort to start a fight. Okay, so what does he want to do? He wants to destroy. He wants to tear apart the buildings, leave the town in dust and rubble, make some trouble with my hand. And he says, I won't lie, I'm fucking wasted. Well, I guess we know that. But I wasted all my youth, and I say so damn complacent, getting wasted is my truth. So again, he's referring to that 9 to 5 dullness that he has, that he's been complacent to just go and do that day after day, wasting his youth. And so now he feels that, well, that's justification for me to get wasted on alcohol to make up for the fact that I've wasted all my youth. So my new style of self-expression is going to be a fist into the gut. And then he bumps into the lady, intentionally puts a shoulder down and bangs into the lady who's with her gentleman friend. And of course, he's going to have to defend her honor. Nobody treats my girlfriend like that. And of course, Ren is happy because now he's got the street fight that he wanted. He screams at her, shut your fucking mouth, you slut. And then while the fight is getting ready, he reveals who he really is. I am Lucifer, the devil. In other words, he's the force of evil and chaos in the world. And his reign is like Genghis Khan. And soon you're all going to know his name. Well, that's true. And he's going to end up in the newspaper, I think, for what he's about to do. I am the storm after the calm. He's setting the scene here. I'm the pill that makes you sick. I am chaos incarnate. Let's have it then, you prick. So he's getting ready to go do battle with this fella. And then, in a really comical scene, he turns and narrates to the camera a little explanation about street fights. And I'm going to go ahead and read that now so we don't have to interrupt the flow of the video once it starts. He says, the rules of street fights are simple. It's pretty much anything goes. You got to be pretty firm on your feet and sweet on your toes. And fools fall for clumsy mistakes and get a fist to the face. And the rules are simple. Break that little prick's nose.
Can have it then, you prick! Now the rules of the street fight are simple. It's pretty much anything goes. Keeping the street pretty firm on your feet. It pays to be sweet on your toes. And fools they have fallen for clumsy mistakes. Late to react, cop the fist to the face. Now the rules of the street fight are simple. Break that little prick's nose. Throw a punch, you swallow it, follow it, grab the collar, quick hollow tip like a rock. Martial art master sparkle. It's on the landing strip carnage, it finds a cartilage, commerce of like a carbonated cola on a crucifix kill. Vincent wanna kill, blood gets spilled. Double that rude boy, kill, be killed. Do it for the fun, blood, do it for the thrill. Blue lights, boy, run, blue lights, boy, chill.
Whoa. So he doesn't really try to escape. He just goes around the corner by the friend's meeting house. I just noticed that. This is an amazing scene where he's fighting a street fight while he plays the guitar and raps over it. And it looks like it was actually all done in one take. I don't know how the hell you can do all that, like karate kicks and punches and picking up a stray bottle and stabbing the guy with it, and at the same time keep up a constant flow of not only guitar work but rapping. Amazing. Here's that fight scene. Throw a punch, he swallows it. Follow it. Grab the collar. Quick hollow tip like a karate kick. Martial art master. Spark a bitch. Park a fist on the landing strip. Carnage. It finds the cartilage. Karma served like a carbonated cola on a crucifix. Kill. Vincent wanna kill. Whose blood gets spilled? Move. Double tap. Rude boy. Kill or be killed. Do it for the fun, blood. Do it for the thrill. Blue lights, boy, run. Blue lights, boy, chill. Karma served like carbonated cola on a crucifix. Wow, what a line. I just think it's amazing that he comes out with this little rap and performs it seamlessly with the guitar, with the action of a street fight. I thought it was worth breaking that down. Now he goes into a totally different style of music, and let's get back to that.
So it goes in the absence of the light. The devil's soul, a seed in either mind. Vincent was shaken, run from the law, hide from the bacon, crouch on the floor, the cook to augment him. Hey, the wolf spits on him, breaks him, hits and kicks him when he's down and that shakes him. He hears the sound of a copper, heart upon his tail proper, Vincent off his rocker.
Yeah, Vincent is off his rocker. But notice, he started could only call that rock, the first couple lines of singing there, and he was really singing and belting that out. And then he transitioned to kind of a calypso beat, a reggae beat there, and it just shows his versatility that he do all these genres. He's familiar with all this music.
Bothered by the lie the Britons sold him, what a shocker! Where greedy eat the poor, a holy war, the chosen prosper. But some are never chosen, they stay frozen in the locker. Destined to survive in 9 to 5 and watch the clock, but don't think about reality, my little happy shopper. A brand new show on Netflix to distract you from the horror, and swallow all your morals for a retweet or a follow, and shadow ban the problem man, a soul for $1, and keep the fight amongst yourself. Don't think about the squalor. The systems don't impose it, all the rules that we all honour. And fuck it, Vincent cooked to boiling point, he's cannon fodder. So what's the use in running? He's already in the locker. He's careless with his actions now, a clumsy motherfucker. He turned to face his fate, cause fate's a bitch, and no more stop her.
Of course, this is the scene that those who follow previous tales of Jenny and Screech recognize immediately that this is the same officer who shot Screech. But let me go back, and I think this may be the most important verse of the song. He's kind of justifying what he just did. Previous line of the last verse, blue lights boy run, blue lights boy chill. And you notice that he took that broken bottle with him and it's just laying there next to the step. He doesn't care if he gets caught. In fact, I think he wants to get caught. He wants the fame for what he's just done. He's not even going to try to run away. He's just going to submit his fate. So he starts out singing, so it goes, in the absence of the light, the devil sows the seed in idle minds. So he's kind of justifying, hey, yeah, I did something bad, but, the devil made me do it because idle minds are the devil's workshop. So he was idle with his job and his life that was going nowhere, and so he killed a guy. It all makes sense in his twisted mind. He was shaken, he was running from the law, but not really. He says the call to war made him hate the world. Looking for justification for what he's done. I'm not sure which call to war he's referring to. There's a lot of calls to war in the current world. You're supposed to war with this group or that group that you don't like, or maybe somebody halfway across the world. But anyway, he's saying that's what made him hate the world, because the world spit on him, raped him, hit him, knocked him down, and that shaped him. So he hears the sound of the cop coming, but he's off his rocker, and he's still bothered by that lie that Britain sold him. And here's what the lie is. The greedy eat the poor, and the chosen prosper. Critique, I guess, of the capitalist system, or the system where the rich control the world and eat the poor while they prosper, and those who are never chosen stay frozen in the locker. Again, referring to the 9 to 5 and watching the clock. Now here's where it really gets interesting. He says, don't think about reality. There's a brand new show on Netflix to distract you. Well, how many people does that apply to? How many people, go home and mindlessly watch the latest show on Netflix or some other channel and tune out the world, and you swallow all your morals for a retweet or a follow? Here he's talking about the world of the social media that so many people spend so much time on, and I'm as guilty as anybody. Look at me, I've got a YouTube channel, a couple of them. So I live by the retweets and the follows. It says, shadow ban the problem, sell your soul for $1. Well, you can't really shadow ban the problem. You can try to block it out, but it's always there. It's not as effective as the shadow bans that the big media companies have, where they have algorithms to help them hide what they don't want other people to see. A person can't really shadow ban his own problems. They're not going away no matter what you do, even if you sow your soul. And again, keep the fight amongst yourself. Don't fight the people who are really controlling the world, the people who are eating the poor and responsible for the way society is. Just fight amongst yourselves, the whites against the blacks, the immigrants versus the natives, whatever it is, the straights versus the gays, the liberals versus the conservatives. Fight among yourselves, and don't think about the fact that the system imposes on you, this whole system of rules that we follow. But fuck it, Vincent is cooked to the boiling point. He's cannon fodder. He's not even going to bother running because he's already in the locker. People that aren't chosen stay frozen in the locker. He's in the locker. He's not chosen. And he's about to go into a different type of locker, being locked up. And he's careless. He brought the murder weapon with him. It's got his fingerprints and probably the guy's blood all over it. He's clumsy. So he just turned to face his fate. Just face a bitch and then we'll stop her. It's a fatalistic attitude, I don't care. I did what I did, and I'm not even going to try to run or hide. Or he could have thrown the bottle in the river, throw it in a dumpster, tried to hide, kept moving rather than stopping, sitting on a step and just waiting for the cop to get there. There's a lot in this final verse here next to final, the penultimate verse. It's an awful lot to keep in your mind, but when you have the words there, it helps to elucidate what he's getting at here.
Face is fate, cause fate's a bitch, and none will stop her. Richard was an officer who stood at 6'3". Was his first day back at work after a time of absent leave. Working London on the night shift, what he didn't think he'd see was our boy with a guitar, bruised and battered on his knees. But Richard lived in caution now, tormented by his past. Not so quick to fire the trigger, not so fast. But Richard was a righteous man who lived inside the law. So he leapt upon poor Vincent and he cuffed him to the floor.
I know it's going to go on and tell us that the next episode in this saga is going to be Richard's Tale, and we will certainly be interested to watch that. And I don't think I need to bring up the lyrics for that last section because it was all pretty straightforward. Richard was cautious because he just got back from his enforced leave for shooting Screech. I guess he was cleared in that case. But he's cautious now, and he's not going to use his gun. He's just going to tackle Ren and knock him to the ground and put him in handcuffs. Amazing combination of music, writing, acting, dancing, video, story composition, and directing. If there's a modern renaissance man, it's got to be Ren. And I've only scratched the surface really of what's in this video, just some of the things that I noticed, but so much more, and that's why people will be reacting to this new video. I'm a little late. Again, I've had a very busy schedule keeping my farm going, so I couldn't do it Thursday, Friday, or Saturday. I have a little time Sunday morning, and it takes time. It takes time to edit this combination of multimedia that I'm creating here. Yeah, it was brutal. It was brutal, and the personality that Ren is portraying is not a very pretty picture. It's a person who's really kind of lost his mind. He's out of his mind from liquor, and he feels he's justified in starting a fight and murdering another person. He's going to end up in jail. Who knows where this whole story is going to end, but I'm sure it's going to go on for quite a while. And some people have suggested it really could be a major motion picture by the time he's done with it, put all the pieces back together. Again, a really, really amazing combination of skills that are being demonstrated here. I want to say again that I'm very grateful to the Ren fans who have supported me and written great comments and subscribed to the channel. So I hope you like this latest effort.